nice to see the white of the sails and the blue of the ocean again.
You just can't beat this, looking out and seeing nothing but blue all around you. But we've got a container ship. It might become a collision situation. We've got a little bit of leaking going on. Water and electricity. Sounds like one great party. Ugh, I'm gonna like barf all over the place. Previously on Project Atticus.
After spending 3 years refitting our fixer-upper sailboat, we left the United States with only $2,000 and the goal of working while we cruised. We made it as far as Isla Mujeres, Mexico, before we ran out of money and had to find work. For the next year, we did freelance boat repair jobs until we saved up enough cash to cast the lines and sail south to explore the Western Caribbean.
Recently, we spent 3 crazy busy days acquiring a month's worth of provisions, as well as preparing for our 360-mile sail from the Bay Islands of Honduras to the western tip of Cuba, our longest sail yet.
Well, we're sailing along. It feels good to just see Roatan fly by. I think we're going 6 knots, which is awesome.
It feels good to be underway again, you know, just, I'm starting to realize that it's not all about the destination. I know it's so cliche. It's so cliche, I want to vomit. But like, I kind of got into cruising because I just wanted to see cool parts of the world and do it for cheap. Getting there was just something that I had to do, you know? And now it's like just the journeying is starting to be one of my favorite things about this lifestyle. Because once you get somewhere, it is pretty darn cool for a little while, and then it slowly starts to feel like, you know, anywhere else. I think that the journeying aspect is extremely rejuvenating, because the moment you start to get accustomed to a place, you can just go. And then in the act of going, you feel alive and adventurous and anxious and excited, and you get moments of levity and you get moments of terror, and it just kind of mixes everything up again. So I know you're tired, bud, so you want to figure out our watch schedule?
Yep, let's talk about watches, Capitan.
Last time we did 3 on 3 off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like that?
Yeah, I'm tempted to say maybe we should do 4 on 4 off so that we can kind of catch up on rest, but...
Yeah. We could do 4 on 4 off for a little while.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Just like 2 4 on 4 offs?
Yeah, especially since we're going to be underway for 3 days. It's not like any one of us has to be particularly sharp at any given moment.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Okay.
Go sleep, Betty.
Okay. See you in 4 hours.
Okay. We are leaving Roatan behind us and heading out into the open Caribbean. But we've got a container ship is on our port side and looks like it might become kind of a collision situation, potential collision situation. So I'm using my bearing compass, hand bearing compass here. And okay, it does look like they're going to go ahead of us. A moment ago, I checked with this and they were bearing 300 degrees. And now, probably only 5 minutes later, they're bearing about 315. That represents a relatively large bearing change. And so that tells me that they're going to be passing in front of us.
I'm enjoying a really comfortable watch right now. We've got these new sport-a-seat lounge chairs, so they pivot up or down at different levels. So I've just got this like reclined at just the right angle where I can see the indicator up there, the wind indicator. So I'm just keeping an eye on it, making sure we stay at the same angle to the wind and maintain at least 5.5 knots. If we go below 4, I'll have to kind of change plans and rearrange a little bit. Anyways, I'm just gonna get back to reading up on Cuba. I've got my alarm clock set for every 10 minutes.
How
was your watch? Off watch.
My off watch was good.
Yeah? Well rested?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because we're heeling over at, what, 20 degrees?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't even, like, notice it down there.
Mm-hmm.
But you come up here and it's like, oh yeah, the world's sideways. But it looks like the wind picked up, huh?
Yeah, just recently. So, thinking about heading to falling off a little bit.
Yeah, we should probably fall off a little bit, and just by the looks of it, we'll at least put a reef in that mizzen, because I think that the full mizzen is probably just giving the autopilot a little bit too much trouble. Yeah, let's fall off 5 degrees and I'll reef the mizzen.
Okay.
The other thing I'm gonna do is I eased the main out haul earlier today when the wind was really light, and that's why the sail is really, like, you know, full bellied. But now that we're hard on the wind and the wind's picking up a little bit, I'm gonna tighten on the out haul and also tighten up on the halyard tension for both the main and the Genoa to give us a little better windward performance. That's good. Yeah, the wind is definitely increasing, and I think it probably is going to increase a little more still. We've got to stay pretty hard on the wind, or at least I want to. So I'm thinking I'm going to bring the mizzen down completely. Now that is a lot more civilized. So before, with the mizzen up, we were heeling between 20 and 30 degrees. Now we're like bouncing between like 15. Yeah, we're basically hovering around 15 to 20. So a dramatic difference. And I don't think it affected our speed almost at all. How's it going down there, bud?
Good, just relaxing while I'm cooking dinner.
Yeah, how you feeling?
A little seasick, just getting all the vegetables put together and setting up the pressure cooker.
And there she is, steaming away. All right, what we got? Some soup?
Got a little vegetable and chicken soup with half of an avocado because it is ripe.
Okay. How are you feeling?
Ready for a nap.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You look very beautiful.
Oh. Huh.
That's weird.
That's so weird.
Well, I'm excited for food. That looks good.
Good morning. Someone's had a lot sun is coming up. You can't see it. There it is. Yes, a lot of energy. Ready to do this watch. Let's go.
So I think I probably got about maybe 6 hours of sleep last night, maybe. And I'm just like so beat. You know, I think the first 24 hours underway are the toughest, you know, especially that first night, because your bodies and your brain is just like, whoa, 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 like, I thought we had an understanding. I thought I would work nonstop for 16 hours as long as I get to sleep for 8. And so you gotta kind of like make a new arrangement with your brain. The wind is still pretty light, but it's picking up a little bit, so I might try and turn the engine off here in a minute and try and start sailing again. But before I do, it is time for my favorite part of the day when we're underway. It's coffee time. Oh man, that is so good. Well, Atticus is sailing right along, and now I am in the V-berth, getting ready to do a little bit of a unexpected task. We've got a little bit of leaking going on, either at our hull to deck joint or through our chain plates, or both. It's on the leeward side of the V-berth, on the low side in Desiree's kind of storage cubby here. So this is the upper chain plate backing plate. This is the main bulkhead here, and you can see there's a pool of water right here. Now the other thing that you can see is electrical wires. So that's fun, water and electricity. That's sounds like one great party. I shut off this breaker, so this is not live, and this wiring goes to like a light that we have running under that shelf. So it's just an LED strip light. I installed that switch and that light, and I never should have installed the switch where the electrical connections are exposed at the bottom of a shelf like that. That's just a bad idea. And so having all of our electrical connections up high is going to be a priority from now on. Ultimately, the solution is to fix the leak. For now, what I'm going to do is just drill a hole in the bottom of this shelf so that the water can drain and it can't quite get to that electrical switch, and that'll just be the solution for now. Basically, I removed the power supply to that switch, and then suspended the electrical wiring so that it's up away from that area. Boy, I'm like feeling gross right now. Coming up here forward and like focusing on little stuff, I'm gonna like barf all over the place. So I gotta go outside and lay down, and after I start feeling a little better, I'm going to get some electrical tape and just tape up that exposed part of the wires. Yeah, so I'm just gonna lay down here in like recovery mode till I start feeling better.
Good nap then?
Yeah. Man, that's one thing about being underway is like just getting to lay down and sleep feels so good.
We decided to sail. It's a really nice night. We're going about 4.5 knots, and it's just like perfect sailing weather right now. It's a little bit cool, stars are out, we're just swoosh, swoosh, swooshing along. My headlamp just like plopped overboard a couple of minutes ago, and it was kind of crazy because it happened like in slow motion, and it was on when it went overboard, so I could just see it disappear in the distance. Made me kind of remember, oh right, like we're in the middle of nowhere. Because when we're sailing on Atticus, I just kind of forget that we're actually covering ground and moving from one country to the next, you know. It's almost like, it feels like a simulation sometimes, you know, like you just have to act like you're sailing for 4 days and then you'll be in a new country. Because it's kind of like this little bubble. But nope, the world really does exist out there. Goodbye, headlamp. Found this one song called The Moon, and God, the lyrics are so awesome, and it just feels like the song was written for these 4 hours of my life. One of the lyrics goes, "It's a quiet and starry place, and times were swallowed up in space, but with you, my dear, I'm safe, and we're 1,000,000 miles away." And yeah, that's kind of how I feel when we're on Atticus a lot of the time, especially on passages, you know. Feels like the world doesn't exist and you just get like a break. And it's really pretty just to look at the stars and feel safe. Thanks, Atticus. Well, it looks like the wind's coming from behind us significantly more than it was at the beginning of my watch. So the boom's kind of banging around. So I'm gonna rig up a preventer, and that way it'll keep it from banging around. Just finished rigging up the preventer. That was the first time I did it by myself, so proud of myself.
Well, now I'm clean, it's time for my favorite part of the day, coffee time. That's great, man. You just can't beat this. You know, this moment, just having your first cup of coffee, looking out and seeing nothing but blue all around you, you know? Situation is changing a little bit. The wind is really starting to die. I'd be tempted to put the spinnaker up if I didn't have a decent weather forecast. What I've been doing for weather lately is communicating with my dad via our Delorme. I asked him what the forecast looks like, and it agrees with the forecast that we got before we left, which is the wind is just gonna continue to die throughout the day and into tomorrow. The other thing is that we've got some squalls up ahead. They don't look very strong. They don't look like there'd be a ton of wind associated with them, but I'm sure they'll have some wind and it'd be on the nose. So we'd have to take the spinnaker down before we went through there, and then once we get through, I'm sure there'll be zero wind on the other side. So all that information combined is leading me to believe that we should just start motor sailing now. We had a really great run there though. We've sailed a lot more on this trip than I thought we were going to. We've definitely sailed the vast majority of the time so far.
is super calm right now. We're going about 6 knots, but it's so nice right now. The sun's getting ready to set. When we're on a passage, everything kind of becomes a big blur, but the highlights are always sunrise and sunset. Just something undeniably gorgeous about both of them. Lazy to cut the sausage, so we each get one
nice. That's how I like it.
Yeah.
Big wiener in my soup.
Oh yeah, gotta have the wiener. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to our channel by clicking here. And if you're already a huge fan of Project Atticus, consider becoming a patron right there. See you next week.